Let's do my makeup using only Dollar Tree products while I give you a story time of how I was accused at stealing at Walmart. Indirectly, but still. I have had it up to here with men in San Antonio. I don't know if it's the rainwater or what, but literally getting on my nerves. So first off, let's go in with some primer. It's gonna take a minute to pump. It does smell like watermelon. Today I went to Walmart. I needed to get a couple things. The weather has been everywhere. It's been raining on and off. I got to Walmart outside. I noticed that there was a gentleman with his dog in a little car. They're obviously homeless, and he had a little sign. He wasn't saying much. I was like, you know what? He's probably tired. He looked tired. I was like, let me go up to him and ask him, what does he need, right? And I will be using a bunch of these new LA Colors products. So let's go in with this foundation in the shade Tan. So I go up to this gentleman. I ask him what he needs, and he says very kindly that he would just appreciate a large thing of macaroni and some, is this my shade? I can't see without my glasses. And maybe a blanket. And I'm like, sure, I could do that. I go ahead. I'm looking around the store, trying to find a good blanket, something that's going to keep both the dog and this gentleman warm enough. So I go about and pay at the register. I did a Walmart pay because I forgot my actual physical card. I'm always using my Apple Pay, hello. And I send the receipt to the app, right? And since all my items are in a bag, I'm not going to need a receipt to show to the front person. So I'm headed towards the door. I see the doorman coming my way, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why is he coming my way if I have everything in a bag? He's not about to ask me for my receipt because everything is bagged, right? But no, he then proceeds to ask me where was my receipt. And I'm like, I'm kind of confused because I'm like, I have everything in a bag. But I was like, oh, I paid my Walmart pay, so I sent my receipt to myself online. He mumbled something under his breath, and I was like, excuse me? Because I couldn't hear what he said. He said, just because it's online doesn't mean it's free. He repeated it for me louder, and I was like, oh. When he said that, I replied, so you want to see my receipt? And I was like, see? And he didn't even really look at it. He just glanced at it. He was like, have a good day. I just left a sour taste in my mouth. I was like, you're not here accusing me of stealing. Hello? So then I go ahead and I give all the items to this homeless gentleman outside. At this point, it was already raining, so he had put himself under the little covered area where the carts go and everything. And he was next to the trash can because he's telling me how the staff there at Walmart, probably the same doorman. He was like, sometimes the staff tells me to leave this area even though I'm not doing anything. As we were chit-chatting, this lady, oh my goodness, he just reached over his head and placed whatever trash she had in her hand in the trash bin. But I was like, you could at least say excuse me. Where are your manners? I almost said something to her, but one thing at a time. But also when I was handing the things over to him, a nice lady was looking over with her daughter and was like, God bless you. That just warmed my heart. And next we're gonna go in with this LA Colors concealer. I guess the homeless gentleman was just waiting for me to get there with the items. I think the Walmart doorman, that a-hole, was probably telling him to leave. Because as soon as I gave him the things, he was already getting up or getting ready to leave. He was telling me his dog was a little injured, like the paw is a small injury. So I'm hoping I can find him to give him some things for his dog as well, just so it doesn't get infected. So I headed back into the store because I was still shopping with my mother. I personally do not like bottling things up anymore. I used to. I saw this lady that she was fixing items. She must be one of the higher ups here. And I went up to her. I was like, hey, I want to complain about this. Explained to her the entire situation, and she was like, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I told her who it was, and she was like, I know exactly who you're talking about. This person has come from another store, and I've had a couple complaints about him. And so I was like, cool. Just wanted to communicate that. And she was like, I'm super sorry. She was really sweet. Let's go in with the LA Colors So Defined bronzer. When I was walking over to the homeless gentleman, I was like, man, why are people like this? They're crappy towards the homeless gentleman and his dog. They're crappy towards me. I'm literally a good person. Still, we get crapped on. I was like, don't take it personal, Maria. But at the same time, I take a lot of things personal. So I was like, it's kind of hard for me to just let it go. And I really like how this bronzer is leaving my skin. Are you kidding me? And although this LA Colors concealer is good, my favorite is actually from Be Pure. I'm not bottling anything up anymore. It's better for me to say things out loud, which has caused me to be in some interesting scenarios, especially as of lately. Oh my gosh, I have another story for y'all. As we do my eyeshadow, so oh, my light just died. I found my other little light. She's not as bright because she accidentally got broken. For blushes, we do have a couple of options. I have tried this one. It sucks, actually. We're not including that. And then there's this one from LA Colors. Let's go with the serum one. I literally just had that in my mouth. A corrector. Are you kidding me? No. So I'm gonna go in with this. What in the hell is this? What happened? Dried up or something? I had to go to the visitor center. It's packed. It's not as efficient as the one at... It just freaking fell. What? I'll deal with it later. It was so cute though. Now it's gonna look uneven. Fudge, it fell again though. Going in with this LA Colors one, I was sitting down waiting to get called and all that. And mind you, my daughter, my little baby, she was crying. She didn't want to be there, neither did I. But she wanted to be held by her dad. She was just crying. It's a small space, so obviously you're gonna hear. And then he had to go outside, get the registration, forgot it in the car. For eyeshadow, I do have a couple options. Some of the eyeshadow palettes. I'm gonna be using one of these primers. I had to squeeze the thing to get the product. It works. As he's coming back inside the facility, I'm kind of listening to the conversation in the back. This elderly man and his grandson are sitting right behind me, mind you. They were kind of loud. I see my husband pulling the door. Another kid starts crying in the back, right? It's not my baby, it's another baby. And then the older man behind me, he said something along the lines of, again with the crying, his grandson says, no, that's another child. And he's like, they should just shut up. In that moment, I was like, what did he say? I turned around, I was like, sir, you shouldn't be saying that. You're old enough to know better. He started mumbling under his breath. Not only was he indirectly talking about my child, but he was also making the parent behind us, whose kid was also not wanting to be there, feel bad. Yes, kids are going to cry for a little bit and we take him out. And so it just irked me. But when it was their turn to go up, they were just staring at me. And I was staring back. They were upset that I had called them out. But I was like, you don't say that. Come on. And it was only a few seconds. It wasn't like the kids were crying there 5 minutes straight or anything like that. My husband took out our child, the other parent took out their child. I'm not sure what all was in that eyeshadow primer, but my eyes started to get watery all of a sudden. Pick up the shimmer from this other palette. Camera's not doing it justice, but that is such a gorgeous shade. I don't like mean people. I don't like rude people. The day before, I had actually gone to church. One of the passages was actually talking about how God talked to the village, and it was just giving an example of go and act out his word. And that's always been me. I will rarely talk about religion with anybody. It's just something that I actually put into action. We're gonna be using the best lip stain at Dollar Tree. I have taken no from no man this week, so it's kind of been a challenge to speak up. I always grew up with the whole thing of calladita te ves más bonita, and I'm like, you know what, that is so old school. It comes from a place that's very toxic. I don't want to teach my daughter that. I want to teach her to speak up, speak her mind in a respectful but educated way, where she's going to be taken seriously and her voice is going to be heard, especially as first-gen Latinas living in the US, because a lot of times our parents come with this mentality of you shouldn't say anything, especially if you're undocumented, especially if you're in XYZ situation. That's not healthy for your mental health. It's not healthy to bottle things in. I know I ramble a lot, but last but not least, let's go in with lashes. And I couldn't find my favorite black eyeliner, but it is from LA Colors. It looks like this. If I can find it, I'll screenshot it here. I don't know where I left my lash glue, so I am cheating a little using this one from Shop Miss A as well. They have the Ioni lash glue. That one's good. That's kind of similar to this one. And they also have the pen one with the black liner and the clear liner, I believe. Or is it just pink? I forget. We almost left without doing my brows, so BRB. This is pigmented. Look at that. Let me try it on my eyes or my brows. It's a good shade. And this is a completed look, amigas. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening to my little stories that are a little crazy. Thank you so much for just being here. By the way, I did go ahead and I added some lip gloss from LA Colors. I did do my brows. This little brow pencil is going to take a minute to get used to, but she is pigmented. I did go ahead and I used brow wax alongside the little brush it comes with. I'm not going to powder, but if I was, I would use this little Ioni pink one that you also have seen on my page before, or one of these Pro Luxe ones. I actually already opened this. I already used this. I just put it back in the packaging just for presentation. That is it for this look. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for listening to my little crazy stories. And as always, make sure to always take care of your mental health. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like, follow for more. And I really appreciate y'all's. Bye.